Probably back in the day.
Welcome back. I am Andrew Smersek with Combat Art Training. This is Calvin, the Limb, with Pace Training Initiative. And now we're going to talk about another subject I've been wanting to do a video on. And that is, it's like, think about every time you see a video of a cop doing something, they fuck it up, or maybe they don't even necessarily fuck it up, but people think they fucked it up, right? Every time there's a video out there of like a cop, soldier, or whatever doing something and people don't like it, the people with the least to offer will come and criticize it. Like the people that are way less trained than that officer will come and criticize it. Now, am I saying that criticism is wrong? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's so many unconsciously incompetent critics. Now, what does unconscious incompetence mean? It means they don't know what they don't know. Now, a dude who's taken a lot of training and learned, and especially if they're not doing it in one circle, because if you're only training in one circle of trainers, you're not really training, you're masturbating at a certain point. Like you need to expand out and learn more. You can't just sit in one area and just do these three dudes' classes. That's wrong. I don't fucking do that. I even train with people that I disagree with. Because if I don't understand where they're coming from, then I don't even know if I'm right in the first place. And I can't just make assumptions based off of shit I saw on the internet. Which also, I think the majority of the gun community, that's where their information is coming from. Shit they saw on the internet. It used to be in movies, right? You'd be like, you guys watch too many movies, or you think that's how guns work, or blah, blah, blah.
But the internet's movies now.
Yeah, internet's taking over. So I've seen a lot of videos where it's like a cop screws something up, he becomes a meme, right? Like we can think about the Acorn, and then lights up the squad car. You can go think of any example. That's not the part I'm so much worried about, right? Like that's going to continue to happen. And you can criticize it, but if you're going to criticize it, like what do you actually know? That's my big question, right? Because there may be problems that you don't have a good answer for. And the thing I think about too is like whenever I see this or, on the internet or firsthand, it's like many times I've been like, I know that person that's saying it, or I've seen enough from that person that it's like, what would that person do in that situation? So like Calvin here is a cop, and this isn't
Part-time.
But this ain't like
Part-time
a thing where I'm just like, oh, fucking don't ever talk bad about police. You can talk bad about police. I don't care.
Yeah, it's your First Amendment right.
Yeah, it is.
Like what?
Straight to jail. Never talk bad. Yeah. Don't swear around me.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, so it's kind of like a thing I was thinking about. It's like the untrained highly criticizes the barely trained or the basically trained. And then there's the moderately trained that is constantly attacking each other. And then there's some higher levels to that. One quote that Sonny has used a lot is, and then the wise man said nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you see with that, Calvin, as far as like, because, you've seen it on both sides of like a cop does something and then cops will say stuff and civilians will say stuff. I've done some stuff where I've talked about on situations that have happened, and then I've gotten humbled because I learned, like, because a cop friend of mine is like, hey man, I talked to guys at that department. This is what happened. And I've deleted the fucking post because I was like, shit, I fucked that up. Right.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely. And it happens in pretty much everything. Like when someone has a part of class, like they see part of a drill or something, on the internet, and it's up like a deluge of people who never train at all. They're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, he's not within the standard of training. And we're like, what the fuck are you talking? What's the standard? Wait, who the fuck are you? When's the last time you were in a class? And it's the same shit, right? And it's just like whether it's because of the advent of so much footage out there from everything, right? All the social media, everything's popular. Everyone's got a voice that they can express now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the majority rules is kind of true, right? Because now all those people who are unconsciously incompetent. Like they don't know what they don't know. The whole ignorance part is so prevalent, and it's still prevalent, that their voice becomes drowning. It's so overwhelming to everybody. So it's like, okay, but then that's what everybody hears, and so it just regurgitates on its own.
Yeah,
right?
and it wouldn't be as bad if like the gun community, which I'm not a part of, Calvin's not a part of,
No.
we're our own thing. If they would stop eating their own so much, right? It's a degenerate group of people. Like it's awful. Like when you look at like Democrats, like the left, right? They literally will defend pedophiles or like completely ignore horrible things that people have done and continue promoting them. Like look at Biden, right? Look at his family. Look at all the things he's done. And they just still put him in, you know? But for us, we fucking eat our own hard as fuck. And they started doing that a little bit too. But it would be so much better, at least, if like people, again, and this is a mindset I've made before, it's like seek understanding before you're trying to like judge, before you're trying to show what you know. Like actually try to understand what the thing in the video was. And also like, you don't know what you don't know. It's like when one thing I've said to a lot of people is when you take a train class, if it's a really good class, you'll come in thinking you knew like all this stuff. You might realize that all that stuff was actually just this stuff, right? And then you learn a bunch more, but then you also learn that there's so much more that you need to start understanding, you know? And that's kind of the difference when you go to like classes within our circle versus like one that's just about shooting, right? You like you don't really get that. Oh man, I didn't realize there's so much other stuff that I need to learn.
The depth of something versus the broadness of something. The idea, what's that? The old Marvel movie, Doctor Strange. The oracle's like, if you look through the keyhole to look into the room, all you see is what's through that keyhole. So you don't really know until you open the door, and you don't really know until you step in the door. Like it's all completely different perspectives, and yet most people are like still looking through the keyhole, and then that's all they see. And then they say, "Oh my God," and then it's just the delusion of craziness, right? And there is no basis for 90% of what they're probably thinking or saying, because it's all influenced by things they don't know anything about. They don't train in. They have never experienced. They've never done, and probably for the most part will never do. Like they would never wear that uniform to be a cop, to be a soldier, to be a Marine, or whatever it may be, and do that service. And yet they somehow have an opinion.
Yeah,
and that's a big thing. That's why they're the big push against anti-cops for in the last 10 years was such a huge thing. Like, fuck those guys, we don't need cops. And hey, don't get me wrong, I'd be one of those dudes to say, fuck that, we don't need cops.
Yeah, I think you should be able to sign something being like, I never want emergency services to help me, and that's on you, right? Like, okay, because hey, fucking good guys get shot by cops who call the cops. That happens, right? Like, I don't know how that would work, but I think you should be able to opt out.
Sure, absolutely.
Like if you want to be free, But
what do you call those people who sovereign citizens? I guess that's how you do it. Be a sovereign citizen. No, don't do that. I mean, you can do that if you want. It's a free country.
Yeah,
but
go ahead. I mean, I would, but
get on that list. I don't want your services, pig. Right? But yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's the lesser of two evils, or sometimes it could be the greater of all the evils, because you don't know who you're going to get. That is true. I don't know who you're going to get during your emergency when you call them, but all those critics who go on there, it's like, yes, they have a legal right to have freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and to therefore criticize.
Yep. And I actually like seeing it, because it gives you a good read on where people are at. Like psychologically, it's good for understanding the public, right? So there's a positive there within it. Go ahead.
No. That's the big stuff. There are positives you can pull from it, but overall, I think for society and as for the functionality, if you want a good place, it's a big negative, because all it does is drive that negativity and all that criticism that's negative to the rest of the people who were probably undecided and unknowing or didn't know anything before, and now they have an opinion too, and it's probably negative because that's all they get flooded with.
So like,
and then another thought, and then they wind up in places of management or command.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, that happens.
So and like we talked a little bit about like YouTube videos of a training class. That's a whole. I think that's a separate subject. But it is very, very similar. I just want to focus on the more like real life things that happen. So in the last video, I gave one of my, quotes, mindset memes was, without force on force, there's no test. And without true violence, there's no confirmation. Right. So it can also be something like that. Like this person's never even been tested.
Right.
Much less this person they're watching the video of right now in this moment is receiving confirmation.
Correct.
It could be that they come out on top and win, but they're going to have a whole new outlook on everything they are doing because they thought they were tested, right? If they had done these things under some sort of simulated environment, right? Like force on force training or just adding stress to a thing. It's a simulation. But now they're getting their confirmation right now. It may not be going the way they thought it would. And that's kind of like where you talked about having a bias. So explain that real quick.
So the biases of prior experience, like real-time experience or training experience it's great that you have experience. Also the problem is you can also be biased to that experience. So like when I talked about the dimensions of training, if you've only seen this piece of the wedge and the whole wedge is this big old circle or globe or whatever size it is, then that little piece has now influenced your entire decision process and what you believe and what you think. Therefore, that piece makes you biased to simply that part right there. If that kind of makes sense. That makes sense in my head.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
and the majority of the things that you see, and so the message here is like, just don't fucking be that guy. Like seek understanding, If you've never been there, I'm not saying you can't say anything. I'm just saying, like, really think about what you're getting from this. Like, what are you thinking?
Keep the open mind.
And like, your perspective on this, like, check yourself first. I don't even care if you could comment the most retarded thing in the world. But like Sonny says, look in the mirror. Right. Like, you have to do that for yourself. That's like kind of the mindset part of this that I'm trying to give. So what we generally see is guys with zero training criticizing those with a little bit of training, right? So that's that unconscious incompetence. They don't know what they don't know. All right. And we all have unconscious incompetence. We all don't know shit that, we don't know. Okay. So the conscious incompetence is that next level, right? It's where it's like, I'm bad at this thing and this thing. For me, hand-to-hand skills. That's a thing I'm like, fuck. Like, I need to acquire those skills. And also I need to be mindful that if I were to get in a fist fight today, I don't have enough experience. I've not been tested and I don't have the confirmation that I need. Yes, I've been in fist fights, but it was like, it was
10 to
like
1.
If I were to think that I'm going to win every fist fight based off the fist fights I have right now, I would have that bias. Like, I recognize that my gunfights were easy, my fist fights were easy. And that's where like the phrase true violence, like if you've been in some gunfights and you think you're going to dominate the next one, okay, how many of those gunfights began with you getting shot in the heart? Okay, Platin Maddox. Which guy got shot in the heart?
I think it was Maddox.
All right, so anyways, Miami-Dade shootout. Yeah. One of them, he got shot in the heart, killed 2 more agents.
With a Mini 14, yeah.
Yep. So that dude actually got confirmation, right? We're talking about the bad guy right now, right? He actually has confirmation. How many people fool themselves on how they would perform, right? And they're always the biggest critics. They're always the ones with the most
I would do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I'll put the fucking laser on his chest. It'll look around. Oh, I'll do my real fucking things I've heard people say.
One draw. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If they're in your house, you have to kill them.
Yeah.
Retarded. Absolutely retarded.
Better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Yeah. And it's like, it is. But like, also, you have other options. Like, you're thinking very fucking narrow right now. Like, I just kill them and then go to court. No, not the way you should be thinking.
It's the linear thinking progress. This is why when I talked about like from a training perspective, I I think you said you put it out there, but
Yep.
the
three-dimensional
the three-dimensional training thing, but it's also like how people think. They always think paper, rock, scissors, and on the force continuum. I mean, the force continuum is good, but it's also the worst thing in the world because the force continuum does this, the stair stepper problem, and the problem is you could be here and you're not exactly sure how you got here.
Explain force continuum.
Please. Oh, sorry. Force continuum is like, generally speaking, it's like different levels of force that can be used, and it's like force of presence, verbalization, less lethal, non-lethal, soft hands, hard hands, and then deadly force, right? So you got from top level to bottom level.
Going from smiling and waving hello to shooting them in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
all these stuff in between there.
Correct. And then the problem is like you may not even realize that you're like here, and then you do this response or this response, something that's not appropriate for what's happening. And those other critics, they come in and they've never been on any of those stairs. And then they're already commenting on like this one or this one or this one. And then it's from a mindset or position that they've never been in. They have no idea what they're really talking about. They just either regurgitate something from somebody else or what common sense says, right? I mean,
and there's no such thing as common sense. There's no such thing. Okay. And you know what? This is good because now I just realized something. Unconscious incompetence is the reason there's no such thing as common sense, right? You don't know what you don't know, right? So what I call common sense is knowledge and beliefs that you possess that you think others should have. Like common sense would be, be fit, have a good family, follow Jesus, and be good at all the training stuff and be financially set and blah, 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 and all this stuff. We all know we fucked those things up. Like we've all made absolutely retarded decisions before, including putting your wiener in a woman you should not even be talking to, right?
Or worse.
Yeah.
Could be a dude.
Oh, Jesus.
Gotta think outside the box, people. Like,
shouldn't have drank so much. I knew that was an Adam's apple. Why does she have so much stubble? Oh no. But so like, yeah, there's no such thing as common sense, right? There is unconscious incompetence. I think that's a good way to put it, actually. But now I'll give an example of a thing where people were projecting themselves onto a video they saw. It's not even a cop, right? It was a video of some like middle school kids, and they're kind of fucking with this old guy, right? They're like annoying him, they're agitating him, right? They're being kids, right? Yeah. We've all been little asshole kids at one point in time. I'm sure I have.
And adults.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fucking adults. Yeah. They're still the same, like fucking older kids. Yeah. Oh my God. Especially on the road. Holy shit. But so these kids are fucking with this dude, and it's like on a bicycle path, right? And they're like, get out of the old guy's like, get out of the way. And then he takes his bicycle and he's trying to like push them out of the way, like kind of trying to ram him with his bicycle, but he's walking, right? And it was in a concealed carry group, fucking cesspool of retardation. And they're like, what would you do? And the guy's like, oh, they're intimidating. They're trying to hurt a minor. So that's lethal force. Like, really? Okay. This old guy walking a bicycle, you're like, I'm going to point my gun at him. And some of them even I'm thinking are implying they would shoot him, implying I don't know because I'm not fucking them and I'm reading a comment. So I'm not going to make a full judgment, but people are saying that it's justified use of lethal force because they're trying to hurt a minor, right? And this is where the dumb shit of people trying to fucking read and interpret laws when they're barely fucking literate in the first place is a problem, right? In defense of human life. Was that old guy trying to kill those kids? No. So are there other options besides using your fucking gun, right? And people with zero fucking training are saying they're going to use their gun on them. Just like if someone breaks in your house, you have to kill them. Right. Hey, I've walked into the wrong house before because the Airbnb directions were stupid. It was a duplex house. It said, go to the back of the house. It's the door on the left. All right. It's the door on the left from the front of the house. Okay. So like, hey, let's go eat, Grandpa. Or let's go eat, Grandpa. Simple fucking typing words can lead to dumb shit happening if we act like stupid fucking people, right? If we kill them just because they walked in our house, dude. Like, imagine that. someone walks into your house because you are an asshole, leaves your door unlocked, and you kill them.
Yeah.
Well, and they were just simply, they read the wrong address, one number off, and you are saying that you will kill them over that. And that's where this unconscious incompetence is so fucking huge, right? In this cesspool gun community that we have.
It's like projection, peacock projection, maybe. Like these guys are peacocking, now it's virtual. It's like on the keyboard, it's on the internet. Like every time someone says, I'm gonna kill so-and-so, or I would have killed somebody, it's like, well, 9 out of 10 times, I usually think that dude wouldn't do shit. And the one time that dude is probably gonna do shit, it's probably because he's like maybe a psychopath, because he like skins the cats and kills them and puts them in the freezer and he kills people because he doesn't give a shit about what other people think or say. And the other people don't say anything. Maybe the wise man.
And then the wise man.
He's the one who's doing it, and he's just keeping his mouth shut because it's nobody's business.
Yeah. So Nate talked about this. He was up at the Proving Grounds Pistol up in Kentucky, and I don't know if it was in class he talked about this, but anyways, his thing was he used to. No, I was on the phone. It was he used to be a bouncer up in Detroit, right? So at the club, and they would throw guys out of the club. That dude, he would be like, I'm going to go pop the trunk, come back here with my AK. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm coming back here with my gun and all that. Well, he's trying to save face for that line of people out the door and be like, oh, they shouldn't have fucked with me.
They don't know who
they're trying to look good, right?
They don't know who they fucked with.
The guy they were worried about, the guy that didn't say shit. After he walked back, they're like, oh, fuck. This guy's coming back with people, So it's like, and so like you said, they're peacocking. They're trying to look tough on the internet, right? Just like people try to do that in conversations. Well, I would do this, and one of the things I talk about in class when I'm talking about use of force, I have personally watched a woman get her ass beat, and I did not help her. Okay, I called the cops. They're for many reasons. Here's the thing: you can judge me on that if you want. It didn't feel good. I'll say that. That chick gets her ass beat every week. The same thing happens every week. She got dragged out of a crack house. Usually no one calls the cops. So I want like think about that too, right? Like, I would, and this is when I've told this story before outside of class. Guys are like, no, I never let a dude hit a woman. Like, okay, all right, there's never a woman that should ever get hit. First off, let's ask that question. Is that true? I'm not trying to say hit women, but it's like, it's not about who you hit. It's about why you hit them, right? Like that's a question. Now, why was she getting her ass beat? I have no fucking clue. So maybe I shouldn't be using my gun. Maybe I shouldn't be getting in the middle of it, right? And again, the way it ended up being was that chick gets her ass beat every fucking week. She lives in a crack house. And normally when she's out getting her ass beat and screaming, no one calls the cops. No one does anything. And that's another reality of it, the peacocking. Dude, like one of the fist fights I was in, it was one of my senior Marines fucking hit my buddy. He smashed a bottle on him. Here's what I did. I restrained him. My whole platoon came out of their doors. They watched. They didn't do a fucking thing. So even like the dudes that claim to be infinite badasses, the guys that are supposed to have your back, they didn't do a fucking thing.
No, that's not uncommon, for whatever reason. And I mentioned this. I know it's not about training, but I mentioned this like about people usually who are preparing themselves, that we are always the victor in our mind. Like we're always we always plan for the fights we know we're gonna win, but we never plan for the ones we're afraid to lose. And so we project, we peacock and say all this shit, and then when something happens, we stand there, we're like, and then that's what Heracles talks about, the 80, the 90, and the 90 and the 10s. And then that just is a number, right? And that's your 90. I mean, you step in, you stop this
every
guy.
100 men, 10 should not be there. 8 are targets. 9 are true warriors, and 9 are warriors, and all about the one. Then he will bring them the rest home, right? So it's like, and that's in everything, even at the highest levels, that still exists. It's not like, all of a sudden they're all fucking 1s and 9s. It's like, no, there's now a new order of that. And it's in every profession too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a clean example. Like when you're a fist fight, like you got two dudes duking it out. You're over here trying to restrain one, and you're wondering where the fuck everybody else is. And
they're watching.
Yeah,
they're watching. They didn't do shit about it.
And that's the reason why, like any other situation out in public, like that's the live version of what goes on the internet. They see a video, those two are participating, and 1,000 people come on there, and they got to give their 2 cents.
Well, it was like even in that fight, it wasn't like my friend's face was fucked up after that. He tries. I don't know if he even smashed the bottle on him, but he tried to smash the bottle. He was like, if you fucking swing at me, I'm gonna smash it on your head, and he fucking did. I don't know if it broke or not. No one died. Just my friend got all fucked up in the face from one solid fucking punch, and that's the other thing. It's like, oh yeah, when a fist fight, I'm just gonna see red and blah blah blah.
I love that one.
I don't need boxing. I do jujitsu. I don't need jujitsu. I use knife. I don't need knife. I use gun. The force continuum, like you say, and so it's like, even in that, it wasn't fucking like, oh, I'm not gonna get in the middle of that. It was him and I at that point. Like first, I gained position on him, got control of an arm, then he got control of an arm, and then it was trying to de-escalate it back down,
right?
Because
that's what we wanted.
Yeah, it was like I'm pretty sure my friend didn't want to get fucking smashed in the face like that again, dude. The worst fucking punch I've ever seen, like on video or anything. He was fucked up from that, except he didn't get knocked out. Right. It was right there, you know. But yeah, so even at that point, like those other guys could have done something. Yeah, they literally just poked their head out and were watching, like bystanders is what they were.
And those are trained
Marine
dudes.
Corps infantry bystanders.
Yeah. And those are trained dudes. They're expected. There's a lot of stuff that's put on them.
Oh yeah,
to kind of prepare them for something so simple that's within context, right? Context of a fist fight, of a little bit of violence. And then now we imagine like the dude who has never been in a fist fight and he's commenting about some video like, why are 4 cops beating on this one guy who's not compliant, or crazy shit like that. And it's like, dude, like shut the fuck up. Like when have you been in a fist fight, period? And it was like, well, never. But they don't tell you that. Or you ask that one guy, like, how many force on force training have you done? Where there's little to no consequence per se. It's just a little bit of bruised ego, a little bit of bruised body.
Yeah,
and it's like he won't comment. He won't even tell you because the number's probably 0.
Yeah. And that's all the time when I got. I'm probably not going to engage with like shitty commenters as much, but I was really engaging with them for a while because they work for you for free. But how many times did someone talk shit and I just go, all right, here, I literally just stole it from Jaeger. It was like, all right, post your resume, here's mine. Yeah. And then they would not say anything. Yeah. They would just try to discredit my resume.
Yeah. Or someone said, and to a point, I do agree. There's a little bit of negative to that. This kind of goes into a different topic because it talks about like, this is what people always ask me, like, who's a good instructor? Like, how do I know if they're a good instructor or blah, 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 or a class? And I'd say, well, there's the general layout. And I think you kind of apply this when you talk about resumes. I say, hey, look at, are they certified, verified, and qualified? And there's a difference between all 3 of those. Mm-hmm. All right. Because anybody gets certified. You can be certified NRA, certified
this
USCCA.
Weekend.
Yeah. This weekend. Never shot a gun before.
Right now.
Yeah. Never shot a gun before and be certified to teach.
And you should. I think you should.
Yeah. Go for it. I don't care.
I think why not? It will give you more freedom to do shit on the range at certain ranges. So you might as well just come up and be like, I am a certified instructor. Here's my insurance. I want to rent this.
Right.
And then you can do cool shit for your own practice.
Right.
Go do it. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you talk about qualified, and they're like qualified as in like someone checked the box and said, yep, you qualified. And, we know box checkers. There's a bunch of ways to pass the test or fail it. And then there's qualified, like kind of subtly amongst your, like the people you work with, your peers. And then there's verified. Verified means it's real time. It's happened. And other people can vouch for you. They may not go out on the internet and tell a bunch of shit, but people who know because they've seen you do it. They've been there with you. They've done it. Mm-hmm. And then that's it. And then there's a combination of all 3 of those things. And then all the commenters are usually none of those things.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? Don't tell me how to do my job when you've never been in my job. Because I've probably never been in your job. So I'm not fucking telling you how to do your job.
Yeah. And it's like, and again, not saying you can't criticize because you can look at something that's clearly fucking wrong.
Right. Mindy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what? Pow!
God damn it, Mindy.
Fuck. He closed the door. Yeah.
I hope that guy that Mindy shot is fucking gonna be balling after this, and I hope he's mobile after this.
I hope he continues to live a functioning life.
All right, so who is Mindy?
Sorry.
Jacksonville recently. 3 cops pull over this one dude, and they are like, "Hey, you got anything crazy in the car?" Blah blah blah. And he's like, "I have my pistol on me. I have a permit." They're like, "All right, for your safety and my safety, we're gonna disarm you." Yeah, fucking for your safety. Okay, so they disarm them, and of course, the barely trained comes and fucking hand on pulls it out, kapow, into the dude's leg. Right. Yeah. So as she is taking the gun out of the holster, shoots the gun into his leg, his gun into his leg. And so here's the thing. You can criticize that. Absolutely. In fact, like I wanted to do a video just on that, but like the other part of that, there's still going to be retarded criticism with that coming from unconsciously incompetent people, right? Like it's probably going to be something along the lines of, "Oh, that's a problem with that gun, doesn't have a safety."
Yeah.
They're like, "No, that's not the fucking problem. The problem is she pointed at his leg and pressed the fucking trigger." You know, what's another problem with that?
It was loaded.
Yeah.
All right, that's another.
That's why you don't carry around in the chamber. Yeah, this is the shit that people are going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's another thing. Why don't we look at this? I've talked about, I didn't fucking invent this, most of it really, I think, stems from Sonny, but it's like, you should probably be good at fucking handling guns with each hand, right? For many reasons, cover movement, also a hand going down. And also like, if you're wrestling with a dude and fucking it's on the ground and shit like that, like if there's a dude on your back, you can't guarantee you're going to be using your dominant hand and your dominant eye to shoot that guy, especially when he's on your back, right? Probably be good with both of them. So how much practice do you think she has with fucking loaded guns with her left hand, considering she NDs in the dude's leg with her fucking left hand? Right. Yeah. I guarantee she doesn't.
No, she probably has, just what they did in the academy, which is like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then so like, we joke like, God damn it, Mindy. Okay, yes, it is on an individual basis also, but where was the root cause of this?
Right.
With the root cause. How often do people say get good at having a gun in either hand? Here's my thing that I say it because I don't think I'm nearly as good with my left hand as I should be. Right. And it's a thing I am consciously fucking I have conscious incompetence at it, right? I understand I need to get way better at it. So what I say is I suck at shooting because I'm not good at it with my left hand yet. I'm not at the level I want to be at, right? Whereas there's a lot of dudes that can shoot way better than me two-handed, but I could still outshoot them left-handed at the level I'm at, right? But they think they're there.
Master those fundamentals.
Yeah, and they have an unconscious incompetence, right? They think they're there because they do the bill drills and the sub-second draw and all those practical shooting things. Let me ask you this. Is it practical to think I should be able to, with a dude on my back, pick up a gun off the ground with my left hand and do a brace contact shot onto him to get him off my back? I think that's a lot more practical than running around putting 2 rounds in all the targets.
No. There was another one, about projection / training. We were talking about a while ago about the current situation of people in whatever profession they're in is a product of current and past peers that are in the service, training or supposed to train those people. And it's a give and a take, right? Like just as much job training someone's supposed to give you, your FTO or your squad leader, whoever it is, like it's also the recipients. The horse has to drink from the water source, right? But unfortunately, there's a lot of the peer side that we're not giving, and as the general public, because it goes back to unconscious incompetence in the public side, like we don't know, and I'm not going to waste my time, in my opinion, anymore to try to save them. I know it sounds bad, but
yeah,
it's like I can't do that. I'm becoming that person who doesn't want to train the next peer or whatever.
Well, it's also like sometimes it's like there is no communicating to this person right now because they think they know everything anyways.
Right. The non-open mind, the closed mind.
Yeah. They're like, no, I'm good. I'm good at this. I'm good at this stuff. You know, and it's like I've done this on the range before. So it's RSOing and a friend, you know, a dude that shoots there. I'm friendly with him, you know, and he's a good guy. He's a good guy. So I'm not saying bad about him. This is where he had unconscious incompetence. He was complaining about ammo prices. I went, dude, you don't even take classes. Like, I don't want to hear about you complaining about fucking ammo prices. Cause it's in my brain. I'm like, when you shoot, you're literally just having fun. Okay. You're not actually approaching it from the same way I am. Right. Where when you have to pay for a class, travel, lodging, and ammo, that's a totally different game. Right. It affects the dude who trains way differently. So he's bitching about ammo prices. I go, dude, you don't even take classes. So I don't want to hear it. And he goes, classes? What do I need classes for? I can hit a 1-inch target at 100 yards with my rifle. And I go, okay, where's your tourniquet? And he goes, what? I go, where's your tourniquet? And he goes, I don't know. And I go, all right, I'll be right back. So in the time it takes me to walk like 100, I don't know, 50 yards to my truck and back to get a practice tourniquet. I had real ones on my body, go time ones. Then in that time, he digs his medical bag out of his gear at the range. Tourniquet's not staged, blah, blah, blah. It's all in the plastic. And I go, no. That one is for emergencies. Take this, put it on your arm. And so, of course, it's wrong, not tight enough, not high enough. He's pulling the wrong direction, all this stuff. And I go, all right, so that was a minute 30. You're like, you would be dead if you needed that right now. And he goes, and I go, do it again, you know, and it's still wrong. I go, so here's the thing. You say you don't need training, but if you got in a car accident on the way home and that artery got severed in that arm, you would bleed to death with equipment that could prevent it, right? He doesn't even realize that. So he never took a class with me after that. You know, I probably was really embarrassed,
That's what happens 80% of the time.
Yep.
When you prove to them real time, like, this is why you need to do it. And it's like their ego can't take it, and boom, they disappear, they're gone. And
so it's like those conversations, I don't even really like. Guys that are convinced they don't need training, that's fine. You're just over there, you know, that's fine. It's like, I'm not trying to fucking convince people of that anymore. Just like we see videos of the gun community trying to explain to the left why guns are okay. Right. I don't fucking care about that.
You can't convince the already convinced.
Yeah. It's like
something else.
Yeah, it's like, oh, don't you realize that this statistic, more crimes are committed with handguns, and it's like, these are the same fucking retards that will go on and say, oh, it's not an assault rifle, it's a modern sporting rifle.
Hey, ATF, that looks like a stock. It's a stock, right? It's a stock. No, it's a brace. It's a stock. It's got to be a stock. And then lo and behold,
shut up.
It's now a fucking stock.
But oh, it's a modern sporting rifle. Really? That gun that works exactly like the ones that dudes were fucking brain shotting guys left and right in Fallujah with is a modern sporting rifle? Because it doesn't go to 3 rounds shooting when you press the trigger. No, it's a fucking assault rifle. Okay, it's a fucking assault rifle. No, it's not a clip. It's a magazine. Low-level fucking information people, right?
We don't do muzzle up here. It's unsafe. We do muzzle down.
Oh, my God.
20 years later, still the thing.
And so it's like they think they're at this level of understanding because they watch videos or they have some level of experience, and then they know everything. You're right. And there's even people without that. Like, straight up just shot a gun once before. Someone told them you're a good shot, and then they're convinced they're good, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Where it's like, and then I watch them, you know, and it's like literally you loading your gun causing they load their gun, and in that process they cause a double feed. Yeah. And I go, okay, clear it, and then they cannot, like, and while fucking getting very close to muzzling you in the face the whole time. Like, no idea.
Says, I can't do that, but I can do this. Watch me, right?
Yeah. So a thing to realize, we're all unconsciously incompetent about something. Okay. Right now, too. Like, you could have taken a billion classes. You still don't know what you don't know. Now, once you start realizing that, that's where you start you're becoming consciously incompetent. Like, hey, I don't even know how to do this thing, right? Then you start to learn how to do that thing. That would be conscious competence. I can do this thing, but I have to think about it. I have to like work at it real hard. Then once you've gotten really good at it, that you don't have to think about it and focus on it, it just kind of happens, right? Like maybe driving, you throw the blinker on just naturally, even when there's no cars around. Like there's certain things where it's like you don't have to think about it. You can process other stuff, right? That's like the level we're all trying to achieve. I wouldn't call it mastering. I think mastering is a much, much higher level than that. But just like I don't have to think about it. I'm just good at it, right? So like for me, shooting technique, the way I'm gripping and the way my elbows are, my head position, the way my feet are moving, all that in force on force, I am consciously competent. I can think about it and I can do it. I wasn't able to do that when I first started doing force on force because I was so stressed out from the things that were happening. It was literally, for my brain, it was more stressful than the real gunfights I was in because, I won't fool myself. Those gunfights are fucking easy, right? Wherein you walk into a situation and a scenario-based force on force class, and you're trying to process the things going on. And just like, is that a good guy or a bad guy? What's he about to do? What's this about to do? And things are just overwhelming you, right? Now that part doesn't bother me as much. It's like, okay, I just have to process that. And now I'm dissecting technique in fighting based force on force. Like we're not there to, do the gas station scenario. It's like, there's a dude there, and we're all fighting, right? Now I'm focused on strictly technique in there. I don't know if I trailed off too much on that subject, but all right, bro. Anything else you want to add? We can read a few comments.
No.
Okay. All right. So thing to think about is like anytime, and you can see it in other people's comments when you watch the video and you read the comments, you can see when people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Think about too, is that you, right? And we've all been guilty of it.
Sorry, Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah.
So,
and let me just read the correct definition. A cognitive bias that occurs when people overestimate their abilities or knowledge in a certain area. Okay. The problem with Dunning-Kruger effect, that phrase, is it gets used by unconsciously.
It's the same problem
people.
within itself. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even like using that phrase. I like sticking to the things we were saying, but that is that thing too. Because it's it's funny. It's like, what's the data say? And this is Dunning-Kruger effect going on. It's
and they're like, oh my god, Dunning-Kruger, and then
literally talking about
Dunning-Kruger effect.
Like the great example of all this is the rat's tourniquet. Like I like it for my arm, my kid, and my dog. That's where I use a rat's tourniquet, right? I don't like it for a leg. I wouldn't want to use it, but if I fucking had to, I still would. And the other thing is, it's funny. There's a lot of rat's tourniquets that are carried by people, and then other people who don't carry or practice with a tourniquet will criticize those guys, right? So it's like, fucking, what does your opinion even matter?
Yeah, it's like the old one. Don't take a class from a dude who doesn't carry a gun.
Yeah.
Loaded. Don't have a medical discussion. I had this with my fire department years ago. A new guy. Well, he's not a new guy. He was my officer at the time. Just got out as a 68 whiskey medic, and he was asking me about what I thought about tourniquets, and then he was trying to give me his opinion. And the first thing I said was, "Wait a second,
tourniquet?
Where's your tourniquet right now?"
Yep.
And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay. When you get that tourniquet on you, tell me which one's better, because I know what they taught you at 68 whiskey school. And before you ask me my opinion, I want to make sure we're on the same level here about thinking about where this is going."
Yeah, it's just like at a gun shop. There's always a dude who doesn't carry a fucking gun telling everyone what the best gun is. Man, I literally had. I was working at a gun shop. I worked with this couple, and they were like, "Okay, we're gonna wait and decide." I'm like, "Yeah, that's totally cool," And then I come back into work next week, and they're returning a gun, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" They're like, "Oh, we're returning this gun." And I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "She can't press the trigger." But I was like, "Who recommended that?" And I went, "That guy over there." I went, "Oh, him?" Another employee. And I went, "Oh, he doesn't carry a gun, right?" He's like,
"Yes."
"What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you should have listened to me." But
well, whatever. Hey, freedom. I'm all for it, man.
And at that time too, I think I was very low skill, low information at that time too, right? And it's like, even then, but at least I could have been like, I knew that was a thing. It's a thing I had seen consistently, because I would actually have them dry fire it to see like if they could do that, because I knew fucking some triggers are retarded heavy and some people's hands are weak and useless, right? But anyways, so anytime you're analyzing something, or if you want to give input, you gotta like look in the mirror first. That's the most important thing. It's like, are you even that good? Right. And don't fucking fool yourself. Sonny did a podcast with the berm limits where he talks about this too. But yeah, that's about it. I wanted to rant on that. All right. Prepared Citizens. Everyone should go follow him.
John,
good dude, making some cool stuff. Put tourniquets on your gun. Oh yeah, that was the thing too. Is like guys criticizing the Rats tourniquet or the Recon tourniquet. And I'd be like, "Have you tested it?" And they say, "I would never." I'm like, "So you're saying a thing doesn't work when you've never even held one?" Like, and even just owning it and trying it doesn't mean you're actually know what you're saying. Because like, if we're gonna say that this tourniquet doesn't work because you didn't know how to put it on, why don't we just say the pistols don't work because most people can't shoot?
Right. That's I'm gonna steal this one from who wrote On Killing, Grossman. Not like the best thoughts everywhere, but he has a really good quote early on in one of his books. He says, "Don't take sex advice from virgins." And I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
That's really fucking good.
And I was like,
oh man, we should just call this video. Mark, what is up, bro? Hope to see you again soon. Looks like we're gonna be scheduling a class of tactical response. I forget where you live, but that might be one that you can make it to. I'll be at alumni weekend anyways. Lewis James said we are the gun culture. The gun community is a bunch of cucks. Yes, but it still has the word gun in it, so that's where I'm like, are we the martial culture? I think we should come up with a good name. I like martial culture, but I was saying martial gun culture because even gun culture, that word started getting taken. So I don't know. I was thinking Christian extremists would be good, but I'm not good enough Christian to do that. Trying. They are united in uplifting others. We are obsessed with finding Judas. Yeah. Watch Frank and Steger versus Haley podcast. It was too long, but showed the difference. Interesting. I want roads and a fire department. Yes.
Fire department's overrated because 98%, 97% are volunteers.
He was talking about opting out.
Oh, okay.
Opting out of emergency services.
Gotcha,
yeah, I agree. Here's the other thing is like, get rid of the police. Like, hey, if you want to get rid of the police, you should be able to do everything on your own without their help and just be like entirely like no one will come to help me if anything. Like 100 dudes outside your house with machetes, no one's going to come and help you. Like that should be an option. But you gotta be real. Can you handle all those things? That's what I'm saying. People that make the problem that make the problem a shooting problem because they don't have any other skill sets to use. Yep.
All I have is a hammer. Everything's a nail. Kind of mentality. Ego has killed.
Robert, what's up, bro? Shout out to Taprack Ridge. Everyone needs to follow all their social medias. Robert needs to comment on these videos with Taprack Ridge's YouTube channel next time or Facebook or whatever. Use that so people see that it's Taprack Ridge. It'll spread the name better than using your personal profile. Hold
on. Some peacocks do train.
Yeah, some peacocks do train. Yeah. But they can be fooling themselves or peacocking,
But some of them are really good. I do know a few. They are really, really good.
Yeah, we've already got
they're assholes, but they're really good.
Be a good witness at aka film while yelling world star. Yep.
That is doing something, yes. Mindy, yes.
Mindy. God damn it, Mindy.
He's like, fuck. Slams the door.
I always body guys who run their mouth with one question. What tourniquet are you carrying on body right now? Yep.
Cat Gen 5.
Yeah, again, it's just not good. Okay, you carry it, but here's my thing. If you have to look at the tourniquet to put it on, you suck at applying tourniquets. If you have to look at the holster to put your gun away, you suck at reholstering. But then again, there's no anything. You're holstering.
Yeah, it starts all over.
There's no reloading. You're loading.
That's a Bush senior terminology. Sportsman's rifles. Oh, yeah.
All right. So if you're going to read it out loud so they can hear. So that's a bunch of senior terminology. We had to call them sportsman's rifles to avoid being banned.
Yeah.
But like that's gay. That's a problem with fucking culture, right? Is it's like it's apologetic, just like Jaeger said, the gun community a bunch of cucks, calling it a
different name.
Calling it a modern sporting rifle instead of an assault rifle, instead of an AR-15 or whatever. Like that is cucking out to the people that literally want you in prison if you don't take a fucking in your arm.
That's like a lawyer thing. It's like, what's the difference to the victim between attempted murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? Like the dude's still in a wheelchair, shitting in a bag, but they want it to sound better or less bad. Yeah.
Right. Yes, more good stuff. They say their rifle never assaulted anyone. Yep. But it's a fucking assault rifle. It's what it is. And I don't want to get into nerdy micro terminology on that. Like, check it out. You know what my AK-47s are? They're Kalashnikovs. How about that? Like, it doesn't matter. But trying to PC the words is the wrong answer. And trying to say like the people that say like, oh, it's not a magazine, it's a clip. Yes, we know that. But they're trying to say that to try to show how much they know.
How much they don't know. Oh.
No, they're trying to show that they're smart because they call it a fucking magazine instead of a clip. No one cares.
Tell him you can help him cut a second off his bill drill, and he will find a way to
say it loud so they can hear it.
Oh, I thought you guys can read this. My bad. Tell him you can help him cut a second off his bill drill, and he will find a way to pay $750 for a one-day class.
Yeah.
Tell who? Me or you or Mindy?
It doesn't matter. The thing is, why you got to read it is because they may have read it earlier, but they don't know what you're responding to right now.
I got you.
All right, are y'all living on video today? Well, I'm gonna have to drive him to the airport soon. I just wanted to do.
What did that dude say?
I just wanted to do a couple videos with Calvin. I got some things I wanted to rant on. I was like, well, it'd be cool to have Calvin here with it. I might do part 2 to all of these too.
Y'all know I'm never on videos.
Yeah. Well, he has a YouTube channel. It's not very good.
He said,
but it's not very good, but it's awesome. Like, you should watch it because it's funny.
I have some good gunsmithing stuff on there. If y'all ever want to be aspiring gunsmith,
and teach you how to make a 1911 reliable.
Yeah.
All right. Somehow your commenters on your videos are the worst on the whole internet. I know, dude. I make all the right people mad. Yeah. And it's like, I'm trying not to be as provocative anymore, but like it will naturally happen. Every provocative video that I used to do was intending on making people haters, but only the right people. Because if I made a video saying a thing, I did mean that thing. Okay. But sometimes I would post things on purpose, trying to make the right people mad. I'm not really taking that approach anymore. I'm just trying to say the thing I mean. Not trying to provoke and be provocative, but yeah, that's why I got the fucking dumbest people. Now, something Sonny said is like doing short form content, you'll get like short form thinkers, right? So a lot of those videos, I'd be like, if you have to unload a gun when you first pick it up, to be safe with it, you're not safe with guns. And then people are like, what about children and blah, 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 blah. And they interject other things in it that I didn't say. And like, I knew that would happen. Right. Like I was doing the Trump 4D chess on them or whatever,
not about the children. It's about you. Right. Quit deflecting.
But it's like someone was there. They'd be like, well, what about this gun? If I own a gun that can go off on its own, then I should unload it. It's like, how about if your gun is a fucking time bomb, you don't use it or you fix it or you destroy it. Like, why are you putting in the other things? Like, what the fuck is that? But yeah, it's a clear demonstration of smooth brainness syndrome.
Smooth skin.
I don't take relationship advice from porn stars. That's wait. Uncle Guns, thank you, sir. A gracious compliment from a man of your stature. Hey, man, I'm just a bro. That's all I am, dude. But thank you. I appreciate all your comments you put on videos. Always good shit.
That one's at Lewis, though.
I wish Calvin and also Jay would do more videos. Yeah. Oh. Yes. I wish all of them would. It's funny. My punches don't work. But yeah. I wish all of them would. It's like, it was funny. I was on the phone with Gary and he's like, oh, I got this tool for doing this thing to an AR and it keeps you from losing a spring. I was like, oh, really? Do you? If only there was a fucking video I could watch of it, Gary. He just starts laughing. I need to do more videos too, though. Like I've got a list on my phone that if you were to scroll through it, it would be 10 feet long of video ideas I've been sowing. And now I'm about to go take Calvin to places to do things. So I got head off. But hey, thank you guys for watching. Share this shit. Like the past 2 live streams I did with Calvin, you should be sharing those into your groups. And even if you want to share into a group that doesn't like us, all right, that's fine. You know,
that's cool. I didn't know y'all didn't like me before.
No,
not y'all. I meant like whoever in the hell those other people are.
No, there's just a bunch of cesspool fucking smooth brain groups of the thing we're talking about, unconscious incompetence. They don't know what they don't know, and then they're gonna pile on. It's like every time fucking people talk about Jaeger's ambush, and they say like, "Oh, he hid in the ditch." It's like, okay, what's gonna happen when you're in a fucking vehicle ambush? Like, how about this? Like, what if every time someone commented that, some other dude with a PKM fucking lit up their car out of nowhere, right? Well, how would they react, you know? And it's like they don't have any fucking confirmation on that. And the things they say are retarded. Because if Jaeger would have sat in that car, you know what would happen? He'd be fucking dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and do you see those guys that talk that shit? Where's their video on how to handle a vehicle ambush? Do you think it involves getting out of the fucking light skinned car that's getting lit up with a belt fed? Retarded shit, dude. But anyways, all right. Thank you guys for watching. Keep fighting communism. Kill all pedophiles. And remember that training saves lives.
Carry your gun. Loaded. And a rock.